Our first overnight train showed us the rhythm of northern and central Vietnam, and we learned everything you need to know before taking one. But today, we're heading even farther south on another overnight journey. How does this ride from Quy Nhon to Ho Chi Minh City compare to the first? And once we arrive, what will we discover in Vietnam's largest city? After arriving in the heart of Saigon, we made our way to one of the city's most sobering landmarks, the War Remnants Museum. It's a place that doesn't ease you in gently. Later that evening, I headed to the Jade Emperor Pagoda, just a short walk from our hotel. But what makes this century-old shrine so revered by locals? After a fascinating day inside a family-run dojo and exploring the ancient tombs of two of Vietnam's greatest generals, sites most travelers don't even know exist, we made our way to the Quy Nhon train station as evening settled in. Tonight, we're boarding another overnight train, this time bound for Vietnam's most populous city, Ho Chi Minh City, also known as Saigon. Quy Nhon's train station comes alive at night with bright colors and glowing lights. I only managed to capture a small glimpse of it before boarding, but even that brief moment showed just how vibrant this station becomes after dark. We waited on what you could generously call a non-existent platform for our train to arrive. Luckily, we didn't have to wait long before it snaked in front of us, slowing to a stop and ready for boarding. By sunrise, we were still about 2 hours outside Ho Chi Minh City, rolling past small rural towns, waking up to a new day. Shops were just beginning to open, families stepped out of their homes, and the morning routines of everyday life unfolded right outside our window. After a long night on the rails, watching Vietnam come alive in the soft early light was the perfect way to ease into the final stretch of our journey south. We arrived at the station and boarded our bus and went to the hotel for a quick rest and refreshment. We stayed at the Central Park Saigon Hotel, a really nice hotel located across from the Le Van Tam Park. My room turned out to be a pleasant surprise, a large, comfortable space with plenty of room to spread out and unwind after a long day of exploring. Warm lighting, clean lines, and a modern layout made it feel inviting the moment I stepped inside. The bathroom was a bit on the smaller side, but honestly, the overall comfort of the room more than made up for it. After settling into the hotel, we took a moment to unwind, just a short pause to refresh from the overnight train journey. Once everyone was ready, we headed to the Propaganda Vietnamese Bistro for breakfast. The moment we walked inside, the place burst to life. Bright murals splashed across every wall, bold colors and retro artwork celebrating everyday Vietnamese life. It felt like stepping into a living storybook of Saigon. We found a table beneath one of the vibrant scenes and settled in for breakfast, enjoying the mix of comforting flavors and the playful artistic energy surrounding us as the day began. After breakfast, we stepped back out into the warm Saigon morning. Just a few blocks away, the red brick towers of the Notre Dame Cathedral of Saigon came into view, wrapped in scaffolding and protective netting as the city continues its long-term restoration of this 19th century landmark built by French colonists. From there, we made our way toward one of Saigon's most iconic buildings, the Saigon Central Post Office. Designed by Gustave Eiffel's architectural firm in the late 1800s, the building blends French colonial elegance with classic European railway station styling. Inside, the soaring arched ceilings, antique telephone booths, and beautifully preserved maps of old Indochina make it feel like stepping back into another era. Although it still operates as a functioning post office, today it's just as much a tourist attraction, drawing visitors who come to admire its architecture, take photos under the Grand Hall, and browse the small souvenir stalls lining the interior. Stepping inside the Saigon Central Post Office feels like entering a living museum of Vietnam's past. The grand arched ceiling rises overhead, glowing with soft daylight that pours through the long skylight. Beneath it, crowds move between rows of souvenir stalls, their bright signs and postcards adding a modern buzz to this century-old hall. Along one side, the old wooden phone booths still stand, crowned by clocks showing the time in cities around the world. a reminder of when this building connected Saigon to everywhere beyond. At the far end, a large portrait of Ho Chi Minh watches over the room, framed by elegant colonial architecture. And just behind the booths, the historic maps of southern Vietnam stretch across the wall, beautifully preserved, showing the city as it once was. Together, these details turn a simple post office into a vibrant landmark where history, architecture, and daily life meet. Just outside the post office, another building comes into view, one that carries a very different kind of history. At first glance, it looks like any ordinary structure in downtown Saigon. But this was the rooftop used for the last evacuation helicopter during the fall of Saigon in April 1975. The famous photograph, seen around the world, shows desperate civilians climbing a narrow ladder to reach a small landing pad on this very roof as the city collapsed around them. Standing here today, it's hard to imagine the chaos of that moment. This quiet corner of the city was once the final gateway out, marking the end of an era and the beginning of Vietnam's long road forward. From the busy streets of Saigon, we made our way to the War Remnants Museum, one of the city's most sobering and important landmarks. The moment you step inside, the atmosphere shifts. The noise of the city fades, replaced by quiet galleries filled with photographs, documents, and artifacts that tell the story of the Vietnam War from the Vietnamese perspective. Outside, the courtyard displays helicopters, tanks, and aircraft that once shaped the conflict, now standing still as reminders of a turbulent past. Inside, each exhibit pulls you deeper into the human cost of war, from powerful photojournalism to preserved prison artifacts. Visiting this museum isn't easy. I didn't include any footage from inside the museum. Many of the exhibits portray the realities of the conflict in extremely graphic detail, and they're difficult to watch, let alone show. If you ever visit Saigon, you can explore those galleries for yourself. They leave a powerful impression and speak far louder than any video could. Later that night, I cut through Le Von Tom Park on my way to the Jade Emperor Pagoda. It's hard to imagine that this bustling green space, now full of joggers, kids, and evening gatherings, was once a historic cemetery before being redeveloped into a public park. Passing through the park, I stopped at this striking monument, two figures lifting a rising flame. It reflects the park's namesake, Le Von Tom, the young revolutionary whose story symbolizes courage and sacrifice. In a space once home to a colonial-era cemetery, the sculpture stands as a reminder of renewal and the resilient spirit woven into Vietnam's history. Le Von Tom is remembered in Vietnamese history as a symbol of youthful bravery. According to wartime accounts, he was a young scout who carried out a daring act of sabotage against a French fuel depot in Saigon during the resistance period. His story, whether fully literal or partly mythologized, endures because it represents the courage, sacrifice, and determination of Vietnam's early revolutionaries. Today, his name is honored across the country, including at Le Von Tom Park, where his legacy continues to inspire visitors. When I arrived at the Jade Emperor Pagoda, I entered one of Ho Chi Minh City's most historically significant religious sites. Built in the early 20th century by the Cantonese community, the pagoda is dedicated to the Jade Emperor, a central figure in Taoist belief, and remains an important place for local worship, especially for prayers related to health, family, and good fortune. Walking through the grounds, I passed a small outdoor shrine featuring a seated deity under a brightly decorated roof. Shrines like this are common in Chinese Vietnamese temples and serve as spaces for quick offerings and prayers. Nearby, long rows of tall red and yellow candles stood on metal tables, each representing petitions made by visitors. The clusters of smaller candles reflect individual acts of devotion, often lit for ancestors or specific wishes. Continuing toward the main hall, I reached the entrance of Chua Phước Hai, the formal name of the Jade Emperor Pagoda. The shoes left outside and the lanterns above the doorway reflect long-standing customs practiced in temples across Vietnam. Inside, multiple altars and statues represent Taoist and Buddhist deities, showing how the pagoda blends traditions that have shaped local religious life for more than a century. Since photography and videography are prohibited inside, I wasn't able to capture any interior views, unfortunately. After a brief but captivating stop at this sacred place, I returned to the hotel. At sunrise, we begin a 2-day journey into the Mekong Delta. Winding rivers, quiet villages, small farms, and an overnight homestay waiting ahead.